Hello, everyone. I'm Philo Tanny, and I'm joined today by Luke Flywaker of the SL Aviation Network for another conversation in our series of SL Living Expo's sponsor. Luke is also the host of SL Aviation Magazine and curator of Music to Fly By, and is the sponsor of the Expo's country region. Luke has been leading the needs of the SL Aviation Network and has been serving grid travelers since 2012. He invites you to check out their YouTube channel where he has over 300 Second Life videos featuring grid travel of all forms, not just aviation, not just audios, but hiking, so all different types of forms. And he does this from one end of the grid to the other end of the grid and every place in between. Luke, welcome. It is wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you, Philo. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. And now I have to say before we get started with any questions, I must say that I have some serious competition in the music area. I was enjoying your stream earlier today, and I was definitely grooving to the song selections you.
Well, I don't know how many, I've got several days of music on there, probably 50 or 60 hours, so it loops through, and so you got a good chance of not hearing the same thing twice in a couple of days of listening.
Well, you're obviously a music aficionado as well, and music moves us, and it's so great that you've tied those two things. I think I'm going to have a lot of puns today, so that you tied those two things together.
Uh,
So if you
that's
could
fine.
tell, if you could tell us, Luke, how is your journey? How did your journey in Second Life land you, again, pun intended, in the middle of all things aviation and travel related in Second Life?
Well, I don't know. I started out, of course, like the first week or so here, I couldn't even walk around, and you know how that is. I don't know if you can remember that far back, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. But once I learned how to get around, I met some friends, and but I think I bought a little parcel and built a house, and I was going by somebody's house, and I saw a helicopter sitting on the roof of the house. I thought, man, that is really cool. So I went and bought me a helicopter and started flying it. And I met a friend then that, was interested in learning how to fly. And one thing kind of led to another. And, we started flying. We got spaceships and flew spaceships, and we bought airplanes, learned how to fly airplanes. Airplanes are a little trickier to fly here than helicopters, of course. Uh, as opposed to the way it is in real life. In real life, helicopters are harder to fly than airplanes. But anyway, I built an airport. I bought up some more parcels, and we built an airport, and we had a lot of fun with it. Then I got involved with a role play group called the Flying Tigers, which was a World War II kind of role play group, and learned. I went to a flight school there. They had a really that was probably one of the most worthwhile things I've done in Second Life was to take the Flying Tigers flight school. And Vixter Kuhn was my instructor, and she's still one of my good friends here now, and she's probably one of the best pilots in Second Life. So, I was with them for 3 or 4 years, and then the group kind of didn't really disband, but people just got involved in some other things. So then I got involved more in civilian and commercial aviation, which started to grow about that time, probably around 2011 and 12. Commercial aviation started to grow because the builders were making some very cool civilian planes and airliners and smaller planes like that, and it just kind of morphed from there. Uh, One time I was in a group called the SL Grid Flight, which was ran by a good friend of mine, Deirdre Falls, and she would organize grid flights twice a week on Wednesday nights and Thursday morning or Saturday mornings. I'm sorry, and they said one time, "Hey, it'd be cool if we had a DJ to fly with us." And can you do that? And I said, I don't know how to DJ, but I'll get a program, see if I can figure it out. So I got some programs and whatever, and I started doing DJing for the grid flights, playing music, and then it kind of worked into MTFB radio, and so that's kind of it in a nutshell.
One
Uh,
thing leads to another. I like how that works, and obviously you're a very curious person who likes to figure out how things work, which seems to fit you quite well.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Now,
So.
when with the Flying Tigers, which I mean, they were famous in World War II, and they
Hmm.
doing just spectacular things. Um, was this a formation flying, or was it just learning how to fly in general?
It was learning how to fly in general, and then we did combat. We'd have combat scenarios and events. It was all friendly, of course, but we'd have like contests and whatever usually for combat. We do World War II. Sometimes we'd even have like World War One aerial combat,
Ah,
and
uh,
then we expanded the sims there. At one time, we had 10 regions, I think, uh, and we had some other role play groups there stationed there too, and we'd sometimes just spontaneous combat events would break out.
I could see all of that happening. And then you also mentioned these tours. So on Saturday mornings, would it just be kind of follow the leader and you all would go around these 10 regions or other places within Second Life?
Yeah, we do it on the mainland grids or mainland continents, and because the airports started springing up there. I don't know currently how many airports there are on the mainland. At one point when we were doing those flights, there were like 75 airports, and Deidre would lay out a flight plan for us every week. It might take us an hour. She did one that took us 3 hours to go to. You'd fly from one airport to another. Everybody'd stop and congregate and chit chat, and then we'd fly to the next one and the next one, and we'd usually have a party or some kind of gathering at the end of it.
Oh my gosh. It sounds like now when I spent some time in the UK, one of the things that was popular there is everybody would get in their cars, but it's the same concept. You get in their cars and you'd have a map that would take you to different places. There were some clues involved, definitely a lot of beer involved, but uh,
Right.
it was a great way to get around and see things that you probably haven't seen before. And in the case of this, it sounds like people would be able to practice their landing and takeoff skills. So,
Right. Yeah. And that was a big part of it. And sometimes it was just being able to make it from one point to another. I mean, because the sim crossings eventually catch up with you. After you do so many of them.
ah, yes, yes, I've that in sailing, so I'm sure it's even worse in flying mode. So,
Yes.
for those interested, what is the easiest way to get started with flying in Second Life?
Well, there's a number of planes. Like I said, I learned with a helicopter first because that's a little bit simpler and more forgiving. I mean, and I learned to navigate, and figure out where I was going, and uh, but there are some really good and very inexpensive planes now that you can buy, and they're pretty easy to fly, and there's always somebody that's willing to help you learn. Like myself, I have people ask me all the time, "Would you show me how to fly?" I've tried to fly, and all I do is crash I'll make it across three sims, and then I crash. Uh, so I've helped several people like that. Uh, set up their avatars and their viewers so they can fly better, and then just help them fly. Most people figure out how to fly the plane actually pretty easily, pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, and I I see that the SL Aviation Network has a huge and strong community. So I imagine there's others like you that are willing to help people that are just getting started to fly.
Yes, there is. Now, the SL Aviation Network's kind of the media partner for a group called SL Aviation, which has, it has, I don't know, I haven't looked lately, probably over 4,000 members in it. And so, yeah, there, I mean, if a person just asks a question in that group chat, bam, they get 100 answers right away, so. And like I said, there's always somebody willing to help you learn to fly or work through a problem if you're having a problem.
So you already mentioned this again, but I want to touch on it. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the Blake Sea,
Hmm.
that area to fly in, and I think I've seen numerous airports on the Blake Sea. But you also talked about these 10 sims that is that something that's still open or
No, no, that closed. It kind of uh, it didn't pan out like we thought it was, and we tried to at one point get it connected to the mainland, uh, and that never did work out. So it kind of just fell by the wayside.
so it's mainly Blake Sea or open areas like the Blake Sea where people can.
Yes, actually now, and I have a program called the Intercontinental Flight Challenge, and people fly from the very top of Gaeta 5 clear down to the southern part of Hedera. So if you look on the world map, you cross all those continents because here, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, Linden Labs connected all the mainland continents. So it's possible to fly across all the mainland continents. So we have this program where pilots, and we have refueling stops that they have to make. So they have to fly a plane that has the fuel option, refueling option. And so they fly from one point to another. Uh, and we cross the Belisaria regions there. And my airport, I have an airport called Gensil Intercontinental or International Airport. That's on the northern tip of Geojot, and so we fly there. I forget there's like five refueling stops along the way, and it usually takes some average pilot, about 3 hours or a little longer to complete the flight, and they get a
That's
certificate and everything. So
that's, uh, that's mind blowing.
yeah,
I never uh, realized that you could spend 3 hours flying in Second Life, but you have to have refueling option to be able to do it. So it adds some realistic realism to it as well. So
right.
that's amazing.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've got a video up on the YouTube channel. The first flight we did, I did with a six-string burner. He's kind of the partner in this. That helped me get it going, and we filmed it. He flew it in a helicopter, and then I have another one with Natalia Petrova. She built an airplane that I have on sale over at the hangar here that we have on display here, but she flew it in that new plane that she had just built as kind of a test flight, and I did a video of that. So if anybody wants to get on there and watch that to see what it actually is, it shows you. We don't show the whole 3 hours. I edited it, but yeah,
That
it's pretty
that
cool,
sounds
really.
so interesting. So interesting. I think I just jotted a note down, so I'm gonna have to go to
Yeah.
your YouTube and find that. It just
Yeah,
sounds.
check it out. I think the longest it took somebody was 5 hours, and the quickest somebody did it was an hour and 27 minutes. And I was riding with that person that did that, and it still blows my mind that she could fly that that fast. But she did it because that's part of it. You have to have a check pilot ride with you, So one of our trained, approved pilots have to ride with the person, you know, to get
It's
them
like the Guinness
certified in it.
records for SL, so that somebody
Yeah,
actually did it.
yeah, they actually
So,
did it because I was there. I was there. I saw it.
it's obvious that you have a good following within SL Aviation and this strong community. What types of activities are offered for those that want to explore, travel, and be a part of your community? And I think you mentioned competition too.
Yeah, there's some competitions, and there's a group. It's called the Blue Angel Sim, and they still do the World War II stuff, and they have a combat game every. I think it's every Sunday afternoon. They do that over there, so that's one thing. Uh, and then of course there's a group now called the Skyward Flying Club, and they do a grid flight every Saturday. It's I think it's around 1 p.m. Second Lifetime, and they have different flights. Usually, just mostly in the Blake Sea area around there, and it's the same like I told you before. They fly from one airport to another. They may go to two or three airports, and then meet at the end and have a party. I've DJ'd for a few of them there, and it's just a good time to get together, and they usually have uh, 30 or 40 pilots show up for that, so it's a pretty good turnout for a flying event. Uh, and then we do periodic things. I think we are playing. I'm part of the Relay for Life, Fly for Life team, and we're planning on doing an air race, and that would be mostly through the Blake Sea area to raise as part of our fundraiser. And we're also going to do a air show. I'm on two aerobatic teams, and we do aerobatics. In fact, the Hawks are going to perform here on Sunday, I believe, this Sunday, and I think they're the last event here at the expo. So when you watch them, your mind is going to be blown. And again, you can go to the SL Aviation Network YouTube channel, and you will see the Hawks there. I've got a lot of videos. I've got a playlist there called uh, Aerobatic Teams, and it's got all the aerobatic teams that I've had a chance to film and work with.
That's great. And I'm glad you mentioned that. So, everyone, make sure you check out your calendar of events here at the SL Living Expo so you can catch that exhibition of flying expertise right here at the expo. And also, if you happen to miss that, you can also catch it on their YouTube channel. So, tell me, uh, tell me one thing that people may not know about you, Luke, that they should know about you.
Uh, well, let me see. I'm a cancer survivor. That's one thing. That's one thing why I support Relay for Life. I was doing that before I had cancer, uh, and I'm cancer free right now. So that's one thing. Uh,
You're a
let's see.
survivor, and it's great to have you with us. And you,
Yeah, thank you.
how long have you been cancer free?
Since 2019.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
That is so great to hear, Luke. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Mm.
And your RL effort, your Relay for Life effort, you say you have this effort that's related to flying. And what other efforts have you been involved with? I mean, you're here at the expo, so you're supporting the American Cancer Society with your.
Yeah, and I've worked with uh, on the relay weekends a lot, and I've been a media partner for Re- Relay for Life of SL for several years there, and I've done some. Uh, Trader has contacted me sometimes to do some voiceovers, commercials and things like that, and I have videoed the events from time to time. I've got some videos where I flew over in a blimp, and videoed the whole relay weekend before it started, of course, because it would be too laggy probably with all the people there. But when it was set up before they actually opened it, I would fly over and do videos. I haven't done that for a couple years, but hopefully I'll be able to do it again this year.
It's not surprising that for everything that you do in Second Life, that you also give back in all of these wonderful ways as well. So thank you for that. Uh, if for people that are coming to the country region, which again, you're the sponsor of the country region, when they come to your specific area, I notice there's the airport tower there. You've got the planes for sale out front. What is the must-see item that visitors should make sure that they have to see or
Oh, sorry, my phone just went off. Uh, the must see item probably is that T-700 plane setting there. Well, there's actually three planes there that are for sale. And the T-700, we have a video. We just did a tutorial video on that, but it's really amazing. It has a lot of real features. It has an autopilot system that you can lay out your waypoints, and once you take off and turn on the autopilot, it will fly you to your destination. And there's all kinds of cool features, and all. You look on the control panel, all the gauges work, and it's just an amazing little aircraft. And Natalia built that, and that's her first airplane. She's working on another one. I can't tell you what that is yet, another plane, but that one right there is just for flying enthusiasts, because people are always trying to be always trying to find the best plane to fly, the most realistic one, and that one really has a lot of realistic features, which is really amazing when you consider the limitations of the Linden scripting language. I mean, it wasn't ever made, I don't think, to make a flight simulator, but all these aircraft builders have massaged that so much over the years that it's just really amazing now that we can get the realism out of the planes that we have here. It's still not like Microsoft Flight Simulator or something like that, but it's pretty good. It's pretty challenging for somebody that wants to take it to the next level. So that plane, and then we have the X Stall by Cat Hunter there, and then her new plane. I forget the name of it there, but there's three, and those must see. And that tower you mentioned, that's free if somebody wants that. And that's actually a replica I made of a tower that is at our state park near my home here that I go out and climb every year. The real one's a lot taller than that, but but it makes a good tower for a vintage type airport.
but I'm sure every time you see that tower, it brings back these great memories of tying RL and SL together, which I think is a great thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it is.
it's the curiosity and just talent of people in Second Life. Just it's always a new discovery for me. Every time I
Hmm.
tell somebody, they bring this special part of themselves, and it's this community here that it's just amazing. Well, again, if you have an inspiration to fly or really travel around to the farthest reaches of the grid, you could see it all with the SL Aviation Group, and you could get to know the SL Aviation Network at their area within the country region of the SL Living Expo. You can experience this and more when you come to the expo. And Luke, it has been absolutely fascinating talking with you. Thank you so much for your time and being with us here today.
Yeah, Philo, thank you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed the whole expo, by the way. And I think it's been a great success with the new format here this year, and I've really enjoyed it. And thank you so much for this interview.
You have said that you have been just great to talk with. I truly enjoyed it, and yeah, this is the inaugural SL Living Expo, and if it wasn't for our leadership here and this team that is just amazing that works behind the scenes, yourself included with that has made this really a huge success. And with that, everyone, we wish you a good day and hope to see you soon here at the expo. Good day.